All right, let's get into it. So you've done all the hard yards, right? You've run the experiments, crunched the numbers, and now you're sitting on this mountain of data. The big question is, what now? Well, now comes the final and maybe the most crucial step, turning all that work into a story that really lands. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how to master your results and discussion section.
I mean, how true is that? When you're looking at your data, it's not just numbers on a page. You see the whole movie, don't you? You remember the late nights, the experiments that went totally wrong, and that one aha moment. It's all there in your head. The real trick, though, is getting that movie out of your head and onto the page in a way that your reader can follow. Yeah, and this is so important. It's not just about dumping a list of facts and figures. It's about organizing everything, presenting it super clearly, and then discussing it so it all makes sense. This is where the communication really starts. So let's build ourselves a toolkit to get the job done.
Okay, first up in our toolkit, we've got 7 rules. Think of these as the basic grammar for writing a really solid results section. If you can nail these, your work is instantly going to look more professional, feel clearer, and just have way more impact.
This first one is a total game changer, seriously. So often we're tempted to start by recapping our methods, right? Don't do it. Instead, just hit the reader with the answer to your research question right from the first sentence. Boom. It gives your entire section so much more energy and focus. You're not just showing data, you're making a point and immediately backing it up.
Okay, rule 2 is a small one, but it's super important for sounding professional. It's all about tense. Simple rule of thumb. If you did it in the lab, use the past tense. We found that. But if you're talking about what a model or simulation shows, use the present tense, because that's a truth that exists right now within that model. Simple, but it makes a huge difference. This quote here just nails it. We all feel that temptation to throw in every single piece of data we collected, right? To prove how much work we did. But more is not better. Your job is to be a curator. You need to select the most important, the most representative results. Just dumping everything in there doesn't make you look thorough. It kind of makes it look like you don't know what's actually important.
Oh man, clarity and conciseness. These are your absolute best friends. Reviewers are always looking for this. Just check out the difference here. The wordy one is 15 words, the concise one is 9. But it's not just shorter. It's stronger, it's easier to read, and it just sounds way more confident. So be a hunter. Hunt down those clunky phrases like "it has been found that," and just get rid of them. Okay, simple rule here. Your findings are the star of the show. The figures and tables, they're the supporting cast. So don't write, "Figure 1 clearly shows it." Instead, just state the finding directly and then pop the figure citation in parentheses at the end. It keeps the focus where it belongs and makes your writing flow so much more smoothly. Okay, this one is huge. Absolutely huge. Your reader has eyes, right? They can see what the axes are on your graph. Don't waste space just describing the figure. Your job is to interpret it for them. Tell them what to look for. Guide them to the key takeaway. What's the story this graph is telling? That's what you need to write.
And our last rule for the results section is just keep it simple. Be logical. The structure should be a no-brainer. Whatever order you described your experiments in the materials and methods section, let's say A, then B, then C, that's the exact same order you should present your results. A, then B, then C. It just makes it so easy for the reader to follow your train of thought.
All right, so we've got our results laid out clearly and logically. We're in a good spot. But now it's time to level up. This is where we get into the art of the discussion section. We're moving from what we found to the much bigger question, so what? What does it all mean?
A really great discussion isn't just a random collection of thoughts. It has a structure. Here are 6 tips to guide you. First, you start big picture. What are the main principles your results are showing? Then you get honest and point out any exceptions or things you couldn't quite resolve. Super important. Next, you've got to connect your work to the wider world by comparing it to what other people have already published. After that, you can have a little fun and discuss the implications. What could this mean in theory and in practice? And finally, you wrap it all up. State your conclusions clearly, and this is the big one. Make sure you've actually answered the question you asked way back in your introduction. It's all about bringing it full circle. And this idea of being honest about the unresolved stuff, it's so important. Don't try to sweep weird or unexpected results under the rug. When you address them head on, like in this example, it shows you're not just a cheerleader for your own data. It shows you're a critical thinker. And that right there builds massive credibility and trust with anyone reading your work. And hey, don't be shy. This is your chance to think big. Your research doesn't exist in a little bubble. So what? What could it mean for the field? What are some potential applications down the road? Even if you have to speculate a little bit, go for it. It shows that you're thinking about the bigger picture and the real-world relevance of what you've done. Okay, theory time is over. We've talked about the rules for the results, the tips for the discussion, but what does this actually look like in practice? Let's put it all together and look at a real-world example of a paper that went from a messy rough draft to a sharp, polished, published article. So to really see the difference these techniques make, we're going to look at a before and after. We'll call the rough draft version orange and the final published version pineapple. And trust me, the transformation between the two is pretty amazing. Wow, you can see the difference right away, can't you? Version orange is fine. It's just stating a fact. But look at pineapple. It's not just stating a fact. It's explaining why that fact matters. It connects it right back to the main research question and delivers a powerful, punchy conclusion. It's a night and day difference. So why is pineapple so much better? What's its secret? Well, it's doing everything we've been talking about. It stops being just a report and starts telling a story. It's not just data. It's analysis. It gets straight to the point and answers the research question. And it interprets everything, even discussing the pros and cons. It's the whole shebang. And really, that's the bottom line, isn't it? The crucial point here is that your results and discussion section, it's not a data dump. It can't be. It has to be the story of your discovery. It's the heart of your paper, where you take the reader by the hand and guide them from the raw data to a brand new understanding. So the next time you sit down to write, I want you to ask yourself one question. Not just, what did I find, but what is the story my results tell? What's the most compelling, the clearest, the most honest narrative here? If you can answer that question, you're not just writing a paper anymore. You're telling a great story.